Perfect. Thanks so much for joining today, Christian, to tell us a little bit more about your predictions for the way that e-commerce and in particular, of course, live shopping is going to go in 2024. Before we kind of get into sort of a bit more in-depth discussion about all of that, can you just sort of introduce yourself and how you came about and maybe a little bit about how Spree came about and where
Yeah,
it's currently at in 2024?
yeah. Thank you, Alex. My name is Christian. I'm CEO of Sprii, a live shopping solution, or maybe the live shopping solution for live shopping on social media and on your own web page. And I think we are the only one who provide that solution. We are helping a lot of different retailers and brands with live shopping. So I think my insights mainly come from what I see in practice out there and the direction that's going in.
We are doing a lot. I say we, Spree, are talking a lot about the predictions and trends and innovations that e commerce is maybe likely to see, might see, you would all like to see in 2024, this year, and of course beyond.
Yeah.
What would you say is the leading concept, the leading theme that is going to kind of underline everything that we're going to see in e-commerce in 2024? Is there one? And if not, what would you say is the most important?
Yeah, so I'm talking about the authentic commerce, right? And I think that's one of the main things that we are seeing already. That for the last 2 years, a lot of, especially the biggest brands and the biggest retailers, have had the perception of that their live shows and what they showcase in general should be very, very pretty. And when they made their live shopping shows, it was also quite instructed. So it was not easy to see that this was live. It was more like a commercial that was recorded, and we can see that those who are embracing the live format, where you can predict everything from the beginning, that they are winning the game in terms of getting a lot of viewers, but also get a lot of engagement from those viewers, because it simply is exciting to watch something that is here and now, but also that you get a sense of who is behind the brand or the retailer, who is it really we are seeing here. And I think a lot of us have been used to commercials where it is where it's very high production and so on. And I think because we like things that seems or are authentic, this also works for live shopping, especially, but also for videos in general. If we see what's great on Instagram, for example, it's also something that's looks like something that are made here. Yeah.
Do you think that the kind of emergence of things, I guess maybe a change in how Instagram was, but
Hmm.
also the emergence of channels like TikTok, where we were seeing a bit more real content. We were seeing everyday people doing a dance on TikTok and
Yeah.
becoming TikTok famous. So, do you think that really helped live shopping as a concept along generally because we enjoyed seeing everyday people sell to us?
Yeah, I'm not sure about that, because if I have talked to a lot of people in the ordinary television business, and they are saying the same, that if you do something that is live or seems like it's that anything can happen, so to say. Of course, we as a viewer know there is some kind of script, but when it is live, when there is something happening, the viewer count is just way higher. So if it's sports, or if it's a celebrity program, or if it's about ordinary people dancing in a competition, or what kind of TV show is popular in your country, it will often be live, actually, if it have a lot of viewer counts. So I think that's the same here. Yeah.
Do you think then, therefore, that that's what is it that people are seeking? So they are seeking that kind of authenticity. They're seeking maybe more human connection. They've had enough, maybe, of
Mm.
soulless, humanless brands, and they want more of a human connection.
Yeah.
So
So yeah.
yeah, so I was just wondering, like, how we can, how will we see that if people are looking for that, but they're also looking from shopping, and they're
Mm.
going to shop from a brand, they're not shopping from an individual.
Yeah.
How can you best merge that? Because at some point you're going to have to say we're selling, and by the way,
Mm.
we're a brand.
Hmm. Yeah, and I think that's okay in a lot of cases, because often if you're a brand and that you're not only using celebrity driven content, if you also have someone from your brand, maybe someone who have developed the brand, developed the product, or are an expert in the field, it will still be quite uh, original content, and it will also have some information that are really relevant for the consumer. But of course, if it's everyday products and the only important thing is price, it's maybe more about how do we engage, how do we make an entertaining show. But if it's your hobby, if you play a lot of tennis, or if you are cooking or something like that, you are really interested in the product and the information about it. And there it's more about having the right key opinion leader than an celebrity, right? So you need someone you can trust, and someone who use and can use the product by themselves.
And I think that that's really interesting because I've seen live shopping in a variety of different forms. I have
Mm.
seen relatively big celebrities
Yeah.
doing a live shopping show
Mm.
where they endorse it, and basically it is just an extended influencer
Yeah.
infomercial, if you will.
Yeah.
But it's also entertaining because you're watching a celebrity and you
Mm.
like them and you like their personality, scripted or otherwise,
Yes.
as well as the everyday person selling a
Mhm.
product that they're passionate about that maybe they've used or maybe they're selling themselves. And that also seems to be really successful. So I'm just trying to get, are you against using celebrities and big names and polished production to do
Yeah.
live shopping, and you would rather it was Joe Blogs in their living room?
Mm. No, I see both of those things works, but I have also seen where it does not work. So, for example, we in the Nordic countries we had a huge and well-known brand, and they have hired I think the two most known celebrities for their live shopping show. But the problem was that they didn't knew anything about the products, and there were no one from the company. So it was just an hour with someone who were famous, but they were not talking about themselves, which was what people were interested in. They just said, and then we have this product, and you can buy it for this price, and nothing more, right? And it could have been a good show if there were someone from the brand who could have been a moderator, or maybe told a bit about the product as well. Sometimes we also see the celebrities be the representative for us consumers, and that can also work very well. It's also okay to have a celebrity to drive the show, but then I think it should be a long-term partnership between the brand and the celebrity, so you trust the setup more than just hiring someone in and showcasing your product without really showcasing it. So it depends. It's more about being very conscious about how you use celebrities, and if you can find someone who have a connection to your brand or the product, this better.
That's better. Yeah, that makes a lot. It kind of makes a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
I can I can kind of hear now that there'll be lots of anybody listening to this or listening to what you're saying about this kind of authentic commerce or authentic interactions. That the smaller brands, the cottage industries,
Yeah.
they'll be loving to hear this, that they can do something a little bit
Yeah.
more authentic, and that they can be themselves, and they can just do what they do, and they can just speak passionately about the products that they love.
Yeah.
What about the big established brands? What about the ones who they love all the flashy stuff? They love the celebrity endorsement. They love the $1 million production values.
Yeah. So
I guess a two-parter. One, should they stop doing that entirely, or should there be a combination of the two? And secondly, how do they even start to move from a big production level commerce to more authentic commerce?
Yeah. So I think we see big companies succeed with this, but they just have to fight a bit more for it than the smaller ones, because they are used to making very beautiful. If it's fashion brand, for example, they have a very nice lookbook with pictures of models in a nice setting and so on, and they are trying to copy that to the live, for example. And we have also seen a lot of years where they just copy this types of content to the social media profiles, but those profiles are not performing at all. So instead, they have tried to use some influencers to make it more authentic, but the influencers are also going in a more polished way, I would say, because it's becoming more and more easy for them to do so as well. So here it is. It's okay to still have the lookbooks and a beautiful web page, but when you are on social media or in a field where you want to interact, you need to humanize yourself as much as you can and come closer to the audience. And you can do that in a lot of ways. It can still be pretty and it can still be nice, but the whole point is that you invite your audience to see something from your brand and something from you. And if your identity is only polished and without any real people behind, then it's hard to do anything about it, right? But most brands have something that they can share and something that they can show to really showcase their potential buyers, what the brand are, where they come from, and so on. And we see that with both big companies and smaller companies.
Yeah, it's just as you say, a different way of seeing it. So instead of hiring the big influencer or hiring the big celebrity, look to your own employees, look to the store managers, look to those kind of people who can maybe lead those kind of efforts.
But the big brands are more used to a filter on everything that they put out there, and they need to unfilter themselves a bit to become more authentic if they want to succeed with live shopping and small video commerce and so on.
Sticking with the bigger brands, I think, because it's less important for the smaller brands, what I'm about to say. Do you think the bigger brands will need to change their measurement expectations, their measurement KPIs, the way that they actually analyze what success looks like for them when they do authentic commerce versus a celebrity or big polished production? Because when you do a celebrity or big polished production, you're probably used to saying, well, of course we can get 1 million views because we've got David Beckham selling a perfume or whatever.
Yeah.
When you're going to go down a more authentic route and say, we're going to have Bob Jones, who's the store manager of Bristol, selling our perfume.
Yeah.
Surely the way that you measure the success of that is going to change.
Yeah.
And if so, how do they adapt to that kind of mindset? What do they need to be looking at that proves what success looks like, and how do they do that?
Yeah, it's a good question, but it's also it totally depends on what brand are we talking about, right? Because for some, it will still be perfect to use David Beckham to bring some brand awareness, but you're looking at the ad, maybe it's for a few seconds and then you're gone, right? And a lot of brands are today measuring brand value in also time with the brand. And we can see from live shopping that that's one of the points where you really can have a lot of time with the brand. So on average, with the bigger live shopping shows, there is or every viewer is watching 20 minutes in average from a show, and that's really a lot. That's a lot of minutes that you are together with one brand here. So I think it's just another way of advertising, and it's not an alternative to what you're already doing, but it's something else that maybe can bring new things to your brand as well. And it also depends on what market you're in and what you want to achieve, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and absolutely. I was just kind of pondering that. As I say, sometimes you kind of sort of saying you would have to sort of maybe bite your tongue and sort of say, look, you know what? I know you've got David Beckham lined up for this live shopping experience, but actually don't use him. You know, use a store manager from Bristol instead. But that's
Yeah.
not quite. You're not quite going to that extreme. It's just about making it more authentic.
Yeah. But it's funny because you're mentioning David Beckham, and his newest commercial with Victoria is quite not authentic, but it's like a behind the scene commercial, right? So there is something about it, and that we want to see the real thing and not just
I mean, really, it is. I don't know why I thought of David Beckham in that regard, and not something related. But you're absolutely right. You know, the ad is there. It was launched on TikTok. It's responding to a meme. It's not polished. It's
exactly. Yeah,
you know, done very well. Sticking with authenticity a little bit, not necessarily authentic commerce, but authenticity a little bit. I just want to bring up something that actually your colleague Krista, who I spoke to previously, started talking a little bit about, and I thought I'm going to have to ask Christian about this when we start talking about authenticity. My question is actually about advancements like AI and situations where now AI is everywhere, whether we like it or not. Your colleague Krista suggested that we might see a situation where we're using AI-generated avatars to do live shopping.
Yeah.
Doesn't that go completely against what you've just said about being authentic?
Yeah, it does completely.
I'm not expecting you here to rat out your colleague here, but I think it's really interesting because people will expect AI to be in their lives more and more.
Yeah, but this is also predictions for 2024, right? And for 2024, avatars in live shopping will not be the big thing. We will see some who are trying it out, but it will more be for another kinds of conversations, I would say. But it is true that there are someone who experiment with it. But if we look at what works today in live shopping, I think there will go some time before we will see avatars taking over the live shopping space.
I think that's
but
good.
Krista is
I wasn't quite sure about.
Yeah. So we have
both, as you say.
Yeah.
looking much further ahead, but I did think that was quite interesting, sort of seeing the two align.
Yeah, but AI in general will change some of our shopping, how we shop. For example, right now, if I go to a fashion retailer's e-commerce site and I need a new t-shirt, I will go to the men category, then I will take t-shirts, and then I will take my size, and maybe I know I want one in white, and then I will pick that as well. So I'm sourcing it out. In the near future, I will just write that I need a t-shirt for work, and then it will come up with some ideas, and maybe it will ask me what kind of work do you have, and it's an office work. It's don't have to be super formal, but it can't be like I'm on holiday as well. And then it will find something that's up for that, or if you're going to a wedding or something like that. And maybe an avatar will do that as well, but it's not live shopping, it's more video shopping then. And there is a great potential for it.
Yeah, just kind of a different merging of technologies.
Yeah.
in that regard.
Yeah.
Thinking just generally now, not so much about moving away a little bit from your article about authentic commerce and
Yeah.
just talking about predictions and innovations
Mm-hmm.
in 2024 or a little bit beyond if you want to.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not as far as avatars, but a little bit beyond if you want to.
Mm-hmm.
What are going to be the next big advances
Mm-hmm.
in live shopping or e-commerce or a bit of both
Yeah.
this year and next?
Yeah, so this year we actually see a lot of our users use the live shopping content for more than just the live shopping show. So we have developed, so after, for example, you can have let's say it's a wine retailer, and in the live show you are presenting 25 different wines. And after the live, our software can identify what the wines you were talking about and at what time, and then the video is split up and then goes out to your different products on the page. So we are using the content over and over again. So when you're going into searching for some wine and you see a picture and a description of it, there is also a video from the live show where you are presented for the wine. And then the live shopping show is popped up it's not live more, it's a post live show, right? So we are just seeing that the content from the lives are used in a more broad sense now, both on your own webpage, but also on your social channels. And I think we are seeing that already, but we will see a lot more users do that because it performs quite well. And that's also part of the authenticity, I think, because or you get more information about the product and you get it from a person that know a lot about the product. Yeah.
One of my last questions was going to be sort of tips and advice for brands who want to start getting into live shopping. So I'll kind of move into that. But do you? This might be a natural segue in a way as you comment on doing that. But do you think that that's how brands should see live shopping, not just as a one-off event, but as a means to repurpose, as a content creation tool, as a marketing video, video commerce rather than necessarily live commerce, to seeing it in a different way rather than just a one-off event?
Yeah, so it depends, because for some it everything is about that it's live here and now. You're creating a sense of urgency. There is a discount if you are buying now, and we see companies who are outperforming the Black Week or Black Friday revenues when they are doing things like this. Sometimes you also have live shows where it's not about discounts, it's more about information or infotaining events, right? And here it's really important to use the content over and over again. It's more like evergreen content. Often you have the same wine on your webpage for years. But of course, if it's fashion and if it's fast fashion, you are selling, maybe it will last for 3 months, for example. And in some cases it's sale, and then the content is only one day that you are going to have it out there. Yeah, so it depends on your purpose with your video commerce strategy.
Yeah, obviously it depends on the situation. I just thought it's quite interesting when you mentioned about sort of the repurposing as to, you know, I think if it was me sort of thinking about live shopping, and the initial reaction would be, it's just a one-off event, and if I don't make sales on that during that hour, then it's over and I've kind of wasted all that effort. But actually, it's more to it.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it does lead me to kind of wrapping up and talking more about kind of tips and advice. And I've asked kind of everybody who I've spoken to in these interviews similar kind of question. That is, what kind of 3 tips would you give any brand, big or small, in 2024 as they start the year, who are they're already sold, right? This is your brief. They're already kind of sold on live shopping. They want to do it, but they just don't know how. Other than partner with Sprii, what 3 tips would you give
Yeah, but then
to
they
help
are,
them do it.
yeah. Then if they already partnered with Spree, then there is then they have a good start, I would say. Again, it depends, right? But the first thing is to set a date for your first live shopping show. The hardest thing is to get started. So you really need to say, okay, we want to do this in 7 days, and then plan ahead of that. What are our success criteria? Who is our ideal viewer for this show? What content do we want to provide? What products do we want to sell? And can we make a partnership with a brand or someone like that? Okay, that was a lot of things, but I think that's it's the most important thing is to get some learnings quite quickly. And of course, we have a lot of do's and don'ts and good advices, but it is really a matter of of trying it out and see what works for us. Like a lot of other marketing and sales activities, you can read a lot about best practices, but there is no one fits all formula for this. Yeah.
And I know it's really interesting that so many people have said that the same thing. That they've all come back with that same answer of just do it. Like, you don't learn any more by kind of reading or researching or strategizing. Just do it and you will figure it out. So that's quite interesting that so many people have said the same thing.
Yeah. Good.
Fantastic.